Hello Chipsters, it's me Gav, and welcome to this look at the year in review 2019 on my channel, and maybe a little look into 2020, but as I can't normally go past a day or so or even a few hours before changing my mind, it's pretty senseless really to look into 2020 because it'll all change within about 5 minutes of the video going up. Right, I've wrote the notes down again. This is going to work this time. It'll work if my chair, which as I've said to you before is fairly new and keeps wanting to slide to the door behind me and down the stairs. I get farther and farther away from the camera, although it does make me look slightly less rotund. Right, let's get into first of all a look back to what went on in 2019 at the channel. First of all, I just wanted to leave you with. Well, no, we're going to first of all what I managed to do and what I didn't do. Got a couple of bus. Did I get a couple of bus painted? No, I got one bus painted. The hell, going back, I did the dwarf. That was the scale 75 bust of the dwarf, and the face I was quite happy with. The green armour, not so good, and also the bright work on it, the non-metallic metal, which I was trying to do a fairly yellowy effect, and it was more yellow than effect. It was also an absolute stinker to clean up. I myself personally, I won't be going near any scale 75 figures for a long while. That was enough to. I think that broke me before I even started. That's what took so long to get that bust done. But he's done. He's in my little box that I keep all my stuff dust free at the moment because I don't have any of those little perspex debris to keep the dust off them. I did the Native American, I believe. I've got to say all this because I'm not even sure I did. I haven't wrote this down, and I haven't even sure when I did them, but I think it was 2019. The Native American 54mm figure from Troop 54. That was a fantastic little build. And the Medieval Forge Miniatures 54mm Musketeer. Now I really like that. That was a joy to paint, joy to put together, and quite like that period for painting. The floppy hats and the lace and all that. It's quite. I don't know why. I just enjoy it. I think it's because it's also part of around the time of the League of Augsburg and stuff that I do in those tiny 10mm, which I haven't done for a while. So he was great, and I'm not putting those type of figures on dioramas. They're just on the wooden plinths, and that's quite a good way of just displaying them because you're just looking at the figure itself rather than making a larger story to tell with a diorama. But got that done. The Wargames painted figures, the stuff that I paint and I show, which I do for a living, but I enjoy showing my work. It's not really an advert because, to be straight, I've never picked up any work whatsoever from my YouTube vids. It says a lot for my painting actually. On the the paying figures type side of it. I did finish the big Saxon commission off. I've got a really good marrower in Norway who I paint for, and he puts a lot of work my way, and so that's all the little 18mm Napoleonics I paint. Not all of them, but the majority of them at the moment are for my mate. So he sticks me a couple of commissions a month, which has been a real good help financially, and my wife's kind enough to let me have a bit too. I can put to either figures or it's going to a lot to scale modelling at the moment, but and supplies for that. But she's pretty good like that. So not as much. There was a fairly dry period in the mid-year, and then in this last part, I've had a lot of problems with my PTSD. And for someone, it's not a painter's block because it is more a mental health thing rather than just I've gone off painting or whatever. But for some reason it stuffed up my painting completely. As in, I just couldn't do it because you get a thing called disassociation, and it yeah, it's not dizziness. It is dizziness, but it's not. It's hard to explain unless you haven't had it or got it. But it really stuffed my painting up, first time ever. But the thing that managed to retrieve me and keep me going was my scale modelling. For some reason, I could get a piece of plastic, get my old side cutters on it, sand it down, stick it together badly, but it seemed to keep me going, and I could do that. Don't ask me why, but it worked. So I've been really grateful for that this year, because it's dug me out of a hole. Which is why I saw the Merkavah go from, I'll do this at some stage, to getting all the way done, because I just sat there rather than painting figures of any description. I was mainly building the 1 in 35 scale model. So the Starfighter, as you all know, I started off, my first scale model was the Starfighter F-104. It is my favourite post-war aircraft. A lot of people have got a lot of detractors. But I love that aircraft, always have done, and it's going to always be my first scale model. I love anything sea, air and land, military wise, but it was going to be my first, because it was it's one thing I'd always remembered. One had flown over me as a youngster and never forgot it. And I think I was going to, not saying my painting's brilliant, but I thought I got enough about me to adapt to scale modelling quickly, and it proved not to be the case. And which brought me down to earth a bit, probably wisely. Some people are lucky enough to step into anything that they do, whether it's work-wise, or whether it's hobby-wise, whatever you do as a hobby, and you can pick it up, or you're just a natural at it. I'm not a natural at painting. It's taken a long time to get where I am, and it's and that's not saying I'm up high up the tree of painters, but I just mean as in, from my standard, it's taken me a while to get there. And it's going to be the same with the modelling. I'm not a natural at things. I'm one of these guys that I will get there through just perseverance. I just won't give up on something like that. It reminds me, now I'm going to say it's not about a quotation, I suppose. It's not. If you're going to use my quotation here in a thesis, or because somebody might do, in a thesis, or if you're in a pub quiz, be very careful, because I may have got the dates, the people involved, and the general where it was. I might have got that completely stuffed up. But I've had to write it down, because again, the old head will forget it as soon as I've thought about it. Anyway, President JFK, he said on a visit to, I believe it was Telford Scale Model World. Now, a lot of people don't realise that JFK, when he was going for the presidency, and then later on, particularly in the Cuban Missile Crisis, he always needed an outlet, and that outlet, funny enough, was scale modelling. Who'd have known? I didn't, but it's there. If you're hard to find it, but it's well known. Used to visit Telford Scale Model World. We'd have all his minders there, pushing all those backpackers out the way. He didn't get a backpack in the face, not JFK. Not when you've got all those CIA blokes all around you, FBI guys. Oh no. Anyway, he stood up on the, I believe it was a Spanish Civil War Sikh table. Jason Champion was a bit peed off because he knocked the canopy off his 1 in 48 scale Stuka. But he stood up on the table and he said this: "We choose to paint figures and make kits not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Because it is a challenge we are willing to accept, and one we are unwilling to postpone." So that's for all you guys with shelf queens on there. Get them down and get them finished. All those of you with units of cavalry, Napoleonic cavalry maybe, I don't like doing hussars. Start learning to love doing hussars. Get them done. JFK would have done. He said it. We are unwilling to postpone. Of course, now bearing in mind, he then went to Berlin and called himself a donut. So what he actually really understood about figure painting and scale modelling, we can question. But it did bring it home to me. We do. Seriously now, we do this, stay with it guys, Stay with it. If everybody did it, you'd be sitting on your bus and somebody would be saying, hey, that Edward Spitfire I did the other day, gorgeous piece of painting I did on that. There'd be mothers at the school gates. Well, that one in 35 Tamiya Merkava, oh, they could have done with some posable tracks on, not them rubber ones. You know, everybody be doing it. You'd be going down your swimming pool. There'd be lifeguards would be talking about what they'd built and paint. You know what I'm saying? We do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard, and we like to learn by them. And that's what I'm finding. The biggest fall on my face I did this year was that T55. Now I've got many benefits of having a channel. One of the worst ones is I like to put these vlogs up. Love rambling away to a camera and nobody watches. But I do these build vlogs on the models. Now the painting side, it isn't too bad. Yes, I might show some units or a larger scale figure, and you might not see it again for another 2 months, and then magically it appears and it's all finished. But at least it's done to completion. But the Starfighter, yeah, you could call it completed, but it really, I just fell. I had decals falling off it. All my own fault, decals falling off it. I did think the fit was a bit loose. Sorry, it's my phone. A bit loose in the fit side of it, but again, that probably was me. I don't know. I'm a new guy to that type of thing, so I'm hardly going to cast aspersions on kit manufacturers because I don't know enough. It usually is down to me. But that T55 full interior build, oh, that nearly broke me because I was loving that kit. Beautiful kit. I knew it was going to be tough from the start. I was a new builder taking on a really complex kit. That wasn't from big-headedness, although I do have quite a large head. It wasn't big-headedness. It really was just, I wanted to learn as I go. I thought 6-month, 12-month project. It'll bubble away on the background. And it was doing good things for me because I might not do it for 2 days or 2 nights, and then because I like to have after doing all the painting all day, I like to do a bit of kit building or painting my own figures, even, strange enough. But I would come to the kit and I'd have an hour of snipping plastic, sanding it, gluing it, whatever, painting it, whatever it needed doing. I did find on the painting side of it, because of the multiple sub-assemblies, I was struggling because I couldn't keep getting the air. I have to put my airbrush and compressor and all the bits. They stop in a really large, useful box, as it's called, plastic box in the cupboard at the side of me there. And it's a pain to, if you're breaking it out for these tiny sub-assemblies that might need lots of different colours, and it's 10 o'clock at night, you don't want your compressor going and all the rest. That was a bit of a bugbear on that. But as for putting it together, I thought I was flying along. I could see problems ahead of me. I did think I was going to have some fit issues, because I knew that it would only take 1 or 2 things to be slightly out of place for me to fall flat on my face, and that's what happened. And that's the one problem with the vlog. People are following along, and you really feel like you're letting people down because they're following along with interest, and then they get a last video saying, well guys, very sorry, we're coming to a screeching halt with this one. Now, that is still in the box, and as you guys know, if you ever did follow that vlog series, I have, because I've got my pop slightly damaged the turret, and I started again, head problems, I started getting in a right bloody tailspin over it. Wife went out and got me another one off eBay, exactly the same. I'd refused to do that until, I keep going like that because it's in that other cupboard behind me. I refused to do that until I'm competent enough. But the other one, I'm not going to give a date on it, and it might not even be recoverable, I don't know. But I will try and break down the sub-assemblies that I have done, probably bust up all the plastic, to be honest with you, but I'm going to have a go, and I will go back to that, and it's not just oh yeah, maybe, because I really enjoyed it, and it's a tank I like, and to actually do all the interior and seeing what makes that tank tick is brilliant. It's just, unfortunately, I really do think, as a guy who hadn't done a dodgy Starfighter and a 1 in 72 T28, it probably was not really the wisest choice, hence the Merkava. the Merkava was good in the sense of it was a great morale booster for me because I got it from mainly because I got the airbrushing side of it down. Now I know I'm going to have some stuff ups in the future, but for me, I was getting really hacked off not being able just to do basic airbrushing, nothing clever, just getting the thing where it wasn't. I have a lot of problems where I end up with the rough paint jobs, you know, where they're quite rough textured, or occasionally I was getting the spider effect, and I was looking up on YouTube vids and that, and how, you know, why it was doing and why this and that and the other. But I was having a lot of clogging, particularly a lot of clogging. You know, you'd literally pour your mix in, it was like milk, all the rest of it, and then, you know, you get nothing out of it. And I've got to say, the 3 airbrushes, my original Neo, which I've been using for war games, buildings and stuff, again, I could never do it properly, which is why I never pursued. I was going to get into scale modelling earlier than that, but I just couldn't get the airbrush to work for me. And I think it was just a case of perseverance. Why I could persevere with the figure painting, but I couldn't persevere with the airbrush, you know, it's just one of those things. But this year I really wanted to get back into scale modelling, and it had to be overcome. Now, I'm not saying I have overcome it completely yet, but it was just fantastic to be able to stick something together and paint it. Now, the Merkava kit is a really old kit, and it's quite simple. I'd like to do well, I've got something more complicated because I've got the Pink Panther to do with all that photo etch and that. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, come on. But I've got that to do. I've also got which I suppose we're now going into the realms of, well, Gav, you're going into 2020 now. But I've also got the Sea Fury. I love my aircraft. Oh, well, let's get it. Love aircraft, love the sea, love land view, anything military really, and civilian as well. I'm quite happy to build a trawler, say, you know. I like all that type of thing. I'm not a huge car buff, but for all the car guys out there, love your stuff. As I've always said, I can appreciate other builds. You know, it doesn't have to be for me. It can be a spaceship. I've got no interest in sci-fi. Well, I like Star Wars, or the original 3 Star Warses anyway. But I like a lot of that stuff. But would I ever build something like that? I not personally. I wouldn't. Not something I'd be grabbing off the shelf. But I can really enjoy other people. I love seeing them solve their problems. I love seeing where you've got that bare plastic, and then you look what somebody's produced at the end of it. I think it's fantastic. Same with figures. I've always said, you get a raw figure, whether it's a war games figure, whether it's a larger scale figure. You see that in the raw, and then you see a really nice paint job. You know, whether it's for a tabletop war game battle, or whether it's for like the 50. I love doing the 4mm figures. I found them. You know, I don't have a huge income, and for me, 54mm figure, they're not massively expensive. A bust will set you back, a decent bust will set you back 35 to 55 quid. A 54mm figure, you can still have a lot of fun with, take a time over it, and you can get them for like 20 quid, you know. So it's for me, it's an economical way to paint larger figures. But what I'm trying to say is, it's the watching people from the start to the finish. I just love it. So, you know, the year of review, did I do a lot of my own larger scale figures? No, not really, let's face it, a couple, a bust. And that is all because obviously I'm painting war games figures during the day, and then I'll often paint them into the early evening, and then just have, sorry, let me just take a swig. You know you're a motor mouth when you have to have a drink on camera. Yorkshire tea, you can't beat it. You know, so I've only got a limited time to do whatever I'm doing, so which is why you don't always see progression on a lot of stuff particularly quickly. But I've found it's been a pretty horrendous year. I lost my little buddy Barclay. That's my working Cocker Spaniel. He was 10. Now, you've seen me get upset over it, so I'm not going to get upset now, because I easily could do. But that was horrendous, March 29th. and somebody, as I say, he was more or less my, blind person has a guide dog. I have Barkley and Archie, my other pup, my surviving pup. They're the ones that keep me going in my head, and my wife, of course. But she'll say no to she's at the bottom of the pile. And then it's been, not a brilliant year. But figure-wise, maybe not as much as I'd have liked to have probably done. But because I'm doing the scale modelling as well, you can't do everything, And I get, as I say, when I have some mental health blocks, for some reason at the moment, the styrene seems to work for me. So you go with what works. Also, one of the so apart from the sad and the down times we've had. It's going to sound a bit, like blowing smoke up people's bums, but it's just been the guys I've met on the YouTube. We've got this copper thing going. Is it going to damage people's, are people's channels going to be removed in the new year? I personally, for somebody with head problems who finds it quite easy to go in a tailspin, as I always say, I'm not actually getting worked up over it, and I haven't done. It'll be what it'll be. Heaven forbid that they do take our channels down, because I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. The problem is we've got a lot of people saying, "Well, I've opened a even if they haven't put videos up yet. I've opened a channel," and they're all going up to different setup, different video hosting platforms, or I'll say are they going to go on Facebook and all Instagram, all the stuff. And the thing is, you can't, we could all do with saying we're going here if. One place, so we can all meet up again, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of good friends I've made over. Well, not so much the people I'm now in contact with behind the camera. Obviously, we can carry on, but there's a lot of good people that'll just it'll be destroyed. But I personally believe that that's not going to happen. I don't think we're going to. I think it's more based, if they're going to go for anybody, it's going to be large, channels with millions of subscribers or whatever. It's taken me 5 years to get where I am, because I don't really go out for the subs as such. It's just a way of me with my problems showing my work, whether it's commission work or whether it's just my fun of painting figures and scale modelling now, and just interacting with everybody else. A lot of us do. You'd be surprised how many people contact me where they've got, or even just in the comments, and they've got either mental health problems, physical problems, and doing our hobby is what keeps us going, and as I say, you're not on your own, people don't judge you, you're just a fellow painter, fellow modeller, whatever. So the real upside, I think, for 2019 has been the amount of good people I've met. They've really given me a big boost. I know it sounds soppy, but they have. It's surprising. I've seen. I mean, people have sent me stuff, and it's. And I don't mean that. You have to send me stuff to get a pat on the back. I've seen other people's videos where people don't have any health problems whatsoever. They're just friendly people. It's amazing. You can hold a door open for somebody in a shopping centre. They'll walk through, won't even thank you. You never have eye contact with somebody in the street, especially in our country, who'd probably get a knife through your chest. It's, there's a lot of ignorant people out there, but when you get into a hobby type scenario where you're all on the same page, you might, you might have, like I say, health problems of one description or another, or I don't know, you might be going through a divorce, you might be, it might be anything, just hard times, but or you could have the most perfect life in the world, but we all meet up through our joy of, modelling, figure painting, whatever it is. That's because they're the subjects that I'm mixing, and you just help out people along. You'll see people. Oh, I've got 2 of these kits. Yeah, you can have this, or I've got this particular book you might like. Oh, you can have that. And it's just people behind the scenes, and a lot of time you don't even hear it's going on. It just happens. I like to thank people personally on the videos, because It's just they don't ask for it, but it's just I just can't believe the kindness of people. I really can't. And that's what I found this year particularly, going in the realms of figure painting and scale modelling. It's just been the willingness of other people to enjoy your channel, enjoy what you're doing, and you know, just being nice guys. You know what I mean? Rather than negative. I mean, yeah, we all going to know you're going to get negative people out there, but yeah, that for 2019, horrendous losing my little man Barclay, but a really good upside is the good people I've met. Now, and I've been doing this for I think 5 years or more, probably longer, that I've been on YouTube. So I've met some other good people as well. But I seem to be in a groove now where for all the downsides, black parts in my life, there's a good bit. You know what I mean? Where I've met some really good people, and I've just enjoyed their work as well. You know, whether it's you know, sea, air, and land, whether it's figures, doesn't matter. I've really enjoyed it. So 2019 taught me scale modelling's harder than it looks if you want to do it well. Same as figure painting. Don't get discouraged. Do not get discouraged on the standard of your work. And if you fancy putting a channel up, again, think about doing it. Nobody's going to knock you, because it's only you that thinks your work's not up to scratch to be shown. I cannot promise you will not get some haters on there. That's something you've got to learn to deal with. And if someone with my problems can deal with it, you just block them, get rid of them. It don't take 2 seconds. It takes them longer to do the rubbish that they put down than it does for you to press a button. So don't worry about that score of it, because there is a lot more there's less debits than there is, what's the other bit? Profits, I don't know, but you'll really enjoy it, and it's going back to, because I'm derailing my own thread here. I know it's going to take a long time to be an accomplished scale modeller. You know, I'm not out to rule the world. The same with my figure painting, but I like to be good at something, and I'm not something that nothing ever comes easy. You know, I have always had to work for everything I've done. When people tell you can't do something, you know, they build a wall, you get over it. You get over it any hook or by crook, and I'll do the same with the scale modelling. As I say, the aircraft, I've got my Sea Fury in there to do. I've got the paint for it, apart from there's a little square bit near the exhaust which they didn't paint because of the heat of the exhaust, I believe. And that's usually done in metallic, and I forgot to get the metallic for that, which is a bit of a bummer. But that I keep putting off because I've had such a bad experience with the Starfighter. I'm scared to do it. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But I will do it. I will. I keep wanting to put it, and I keep wanting to get the Pink Panther in front of it. And I know that if I do that, I'll find the next model I want to do, because you know I love my IDF. I've always been a big IDF fan, and I'd like to do some IDF vehicles. But I know and the aircraft will get pushed back, and I don't want to do that because I also have a 1 in 48 scale Starfighter in there, and I'm desperate to get that painted and done. But again, I want to do it when I can do it well, because I bought the kit second hand. I couldn't afford it new. It's got no decals, so we'll have to pay for some decals. But it's the Hasegawa. It's the Italeri one, but it's a Hasegawa Reeboks of it. Sorry, Italeri Reeboks Hasegawa, whatever. But it's Hasegawa kit anyway. And it will be a nice kit, but I just don't have the skills to do it well. But have a go. As you know, I'm saying all this and I'm telling you guys to have a go, but don't be put off. It's the same with the figure painting. If you're painting war games figures, you can go as far as you want to go with it. You know, don't say, oh well, I can't do eyes, or I can't do this and I can't do that. You can, It's just a case of keep chipping away at it, you know, because it will happen for you if you want it to happen. Yes, there is we all reach I would imagine we all reach a plateau where, you know, you do get some just really talented people that can go that one step further. But I do believe, you know, just persevere. It's like that T55. I'm going to have another crack at it because it's not going to defeat me just yet. It might do in the end, but not yet. So guys, that's 2019 out the way. I wish you all a really happy new year. I hope it's a lucky one for us all. Not too many bad things. You know, bad things happen, but hopefully 2020 is at least on the modelling, painting front, on the YouTube channel front. 2020 is going to be a decent year for us all. I will do problem is, just like I said, if I do a 2020, this is what I'm going to do video, it'll be changed within a few minutes. A few minutes of that video going up, I'll have changed my mind and we'll be doing something else. But I've also got a couple of other little irons in the fires. I've got it's for the 18mm Napoleonics. I'm going to scratch build something. A friend was good enough to give me some dimensions and that the other day, and I've got some of the plastic art for it, and I've got to get some more bits and pieces. So that's a project that I'll be doing in stages, and hopefully we'll get a look at that. And obviously I've got some more figures to do as well. So there's plenty on the 2020 front. But for 2019, thank you to all the fellow channel buddies, tubesters I've met this year and in the past. You know, you've all been fantastic. I'm not just saying that, I mean it. For all the people that have contributed comments that don't have their own channels, again, I said it the other day, you know, our channels don't exist without you guys, because a lot of the time it's more, you get more comments from people that don't have channels than that actually do. So again, the channel wouldn't be the same without you people putting in your 10 penneth. So I really, you know, can't thank you all enough for that. So guys, rambled on long enough. Hopefully you've got some work done listening to me droning on. Please keep knocking out your videos. Don't let the Copra thing get you down too much, unless you suddenly get wiped out, or I get wiped out, we all get wiped out. We'll meet up somewhere someday. There's a Vera Lynn song somewhere in there. Anyway, take care of yourselves. We'll catch each other in 2020.